James Gunn should be embarrassed for letting the Supergirl movie exist when it takes a huge shit on everything I like about the comic it's based on. Not that I want to play comic accuracy police here, nor am I a Supergirl expert, but if you're gonna adapt a specific story, can you at least try to get the best parts of what I just read? The biggest issue is that this movie ignores the themes and beauty of what made the original comic great to me. And yes, I understand that it's hard to do in this sense, because the main character of that book was Ruth, with Supergirl instead being a role model for her, but this movie doesn't even try to prove or show why Supergirl is a symbol for hope, with her instead being a cringy asshole that tries so hard to be yet another generic edgy superhero character. Sure, Supergirl did curse sometimes and is definitely not a golden boy idol like Superman is in that story, but the movie version feels like a completely different person in comparison, and it ruins the bond between her and Ruth with her crappy personality, making a bond that is impossible to care about, when it's just two insufferable characters being annoying to each other. Now, I think Ruth is a bad character, she's purposely annoying, but with no counterpart to make us like her by the end, there's no good chemistry in this bond to actually develop her character, and it made the ending come off as an actual insult to those who know the story. You could also say that there's nothing to care about in the adventure itself either, thanks to this bland-ass villain Krem doing nothing to keep you on the edge of your seats, and the funniest part about this is that Krem was already a purposely bland character in the comic book, who's only actually present 2 to 3 times in the current events, serving as the finish line goal of the original story once Ruth sees him again. But thanks to the writers of this movie being so incompetent, they somehow changed things that should have been untouched, like Supergirl's bond, while doing nothing to Krem and increasing his screen time like crazy, as if he's worth more than 8 gigabytes of RAM. Lobo was also a negative because he's just so annoying to watch, with his whole purpose being to say bullshit lines and give fan service to people who prioritize cheap hype over actual good writing. The soundtrack was terrible, the whole first act was a complete rushed mess, the comedy is insanely unfunny and gives vibes of an amateur trying to replicate MCU jokes, and the action doesn't even try to replicate the beauty, spectacle, and tone of the battles in the book, instead delivering underwhelming and downright boring choreography that can't even compare to the Superman movie we just saw last year. Now, I don't think the movie is bad enough to kill the DCU, but there better be some quality control, because Gunn just released a movie that felt like it belonged in the last DC universe. 4 out of 10.